Yo, what's good, family? Hope you all are having a great day. Welcome to the second Charlie's Talk, and today we will cover another concept, which is thinking outside the box. Very important one, honestly. In the beginning, when I started 7 years ago, man, I was in a hood in Madrid, right? I was recording music to people in my neighborhood. Then I was recording music to people in Madrid from different parts of the city. And it was difficult for me to think outside the box because you're a product of your environment. Your environment is extremely crucial. One of my mentors once told me, Charlie, if your inner circle is not pushing you, you don't have a circle, you have a box. And that honestly blew my mind because I thought, bro, I don't have a circle, I have a fucking box. I have a bloody box. And it's interesting now to understand that your circle is not pushing you, it's pulling you back. And I'm sure that most of the people right now listening or seeing this video, guys, you have a fucking box and you have to break it. You have to get outside of it and create a circle that pushes you, right? How you do that? Well, you have to understand that your environment is extremely crucial. And the first thing I did to take care of my environment was understanding that the environment is not only the people you hang around with, but also what you listen to, what you hear, what you see, everything. So the first thing I did was removing all music. All right, cutting off all the music. All right, cutting off all the rappers, talking about mugging people, about killing people, about drugs, about whores, about all that shit. I cut it off literally, and I everything that I had in my phone was, personal development audios. That was the first thing I did, and believe me, in the long term, it did an effect. Obviously, because right now you're not listening all day long to all that shit. No, Charlie, but I listen to EDM music or hardcore, bro. That's also trash. All right, that's music. That's a bad frequency. All right, most of the music that you listen to is a low frequency. If you just study this thing, this is a little bit off topic, but most of the commercial music that we listen to today, if you go to a mall or your favorite artist, all that music is on the same frequency. All right, and that's the frequency that the Nazis used on the concentration camps to maintain the Jewish people on a low frequency. That's actually crazy. And that's the same frequency that is maintained by all the, companies and music labs and all recording labels and all of that. It's insane. So I don't care what music you listen to. Probably it's a low frequency music and it's pulling you back in some sort of way. I'm not saying that you don't have to listen to music never ever in your life, all right? But I'm saying that if you're starting or you feel like you need some sort of reset, cutting off the music is one of the main things you should do, all right? Or at least reduce the consumption of the music. Obviously, you can get it back at some point. All right, I listen to music nowadays, obviously, but at some point, you will have to do some reset. All right, so thinking outside the box, the first thing you have to do is thinking about doing some reset. All right, so your environment, what you listen to. Now, what do you see every single day? I stopped seeing like trash TV shows. I stopped seeing like trash Netflix series. And I was addicted to see mansion tours or yacht tours. All of those things that I was, bro, that was blowing my mind because I understood that the money was out there. I remember one day I had a family reunion, right? We were about to go to my hometown and have some lunch, all the family members all together. And I remember this feeling, man, that I was watching in YouTube one of the, this type of Monaco car shows where all the billionaires go with their Bugattis, with the Paganis, and all of that. And I remember that was the first time in my life ever watching a Pagani and a Bugatti, all those hypercars, Bro, I had anxiety. That was the first time ever in my life having anxiety. I had this pressure in my stomach, in my chest. Like it was hard to breathe. It was actually crazy. I mean, I was super young. And I think that was myself unlocking a different frequency in life. I actually believe it. You know what happens if Shaquille O'Neal right now, grabs this t-shirt, he puts the t-shirt on and then gets the t-shirt back to me? Bro, the t-shirt is going to be fucked up, right? It's going to be super big and it will not fit like it fits right now in my body, right? Mind works in the same way. Once the mind is expanded by an idea, it cannot go back to its original form. And I think that those type of situations when you think outside the box really change you. I believe that cutting off the music and only listening to personal development books and audiobooks from millionaires and multi-millionaires changed my life. I think that starting seeing on YouTube Monaco billionaires car shows instead of the, Fort Mondeo in the street obviously changed my life. So the environment is actually what shapes you. It doesn't mean that right now you have to live over your means and above your means and start spending on things that are expensive. It doesn't mean that. All right, you can actually change your environment actually spending $0. Most people say that they don't have money and they still live in the same shit life. Well, that's not an excuse because you can actually change your environment spending $0. All right. So that's what you listen to. What do you see? The next one and the most obvious one is who do you hang around with? Obviously, right now, perhaps you don't know any millionaires or nor billionaires, all right? But you have to hang around like minded people. What do you talk about when you sit down with someone? Do you talk about excuses, problems, or do you talk about solutions and opportunities? It's really that simple. Now, what habits do you do with those people? In every single time that you meet someone is to drink or smoke or do drugs, that's fucked up. I mean, that relationship is going nowhere. That relationship is not nurturing your life. That relationship will not get you forward. Now, what happens with a person that every single time you meet up, you talk about opportunities, you do healthy habits, you grow, you finish that conversation fired up, right? That's a positive relationship. That's a relationship that every single time that you meet up is to do good habits. You're a trader, all right? You are a person that is looking for good ROI opportunities. So you have to cut off what's not working and you have to double down on what works. So you have to, I cannot stress this enough. You have to improve your environment. Now, obviously, now I have to play devil's advocate right here because you have full accountability of allowing your environment affecting you on a negative way. Obviously, you have exceptions, but exceptions don't disprove the rule. Obviously, if you are in a war zone, obviously your environment is going to affect you on a negative way, all right? Don't be dumb. I'm not talking about those situations. But if you're on a job that you don't like and you have the same person that tells you, "Hey Joe, how are you? I had this traffic issue today and you don't know how to deal with this person." Bro, you're the one that is allowing that cunt to destroy your day. So also don't allow those people to affect your energy, right? One positive thought weighs 10,000 more times than a negative thought. So I understand that you have a job that you don't like. I understand that you have a relationship that you don't like. But you're the one that allows those negative environments affect you. Some scenarios will be different than others. All right. I'm not saying that for everyone will be simple. All right. But you have full accountability for the way you feel. If you don't control how you feel, you don't control anything. So although right now you think it's super difficult, yes, I'm not saying it's easy, but you have responsibility on how you feel. So your environment is a product of your actions. Perhaps you cannot change your environment at all or in full shape, but you can also modify how you are affected from your environment. So you have to also work on that. So just to summarize, guys, what you listen to, what do you see, and who you hang around with. Try to change it. Don't just do what seems cool at the time, and make sure it's building into what you genuinely want. With this tip, with this video, we'll wrap it up. See you in the next one.